Hey, Natsu here. Today I'm going to start a new what if that I was supposed to start in about only a month or so because I lost a bet against someone. Um, the what if is what if Deku had Cell's powers. I'm pretty sure you, well, some of you don't really want to know about the bet that I did, but some of you might want to. So I'm going to put a timestamp in the comment section past this explanation of what the bet was, for if you don't want to hear it. So basically, well, someone in my family, because I went at a birthday party, actually watches my videos. He doesn't have a YouTube account, so he cannot talk to me about it in the comments. But basically, he told me that he liked my what ifs, but he wanted to know if I had more that I had planned, and I basically told him about this one. So he launched me a bet that I was sure I would be able to win, and I lost. Basically, the bet is, well, a Pokemon battle actually, for a DS game. I lost the Pokemon battle, which was basically we only take two Pokemon each and do a team battle. It was for Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Normally, my Pokemons have almost never missed, and for some reason, in that battle specifically, I was missing almost 1 out of 3 hits. Both of our, well, all four Pokemon were at level 100, and it was team battle, so 2 versus 2. And almost all of my moves were basically missing, or for some reason, like normally I use Surf and stuff like that. Those attacks didn't want to hit at all for some reason, which I don't. Well, Surf was actually one of the moves that actually hit it the most. Probably is one of the Pokemon he had a recovery move, while the other one had a, well, he increased the defense on it so freaking high that well, defense and special defense, so basically both of it were like almost untouchable for that. Um, the other one was healing almost everything, as well as having a super high physical defense. Don't remember the Pokemons. All I remember is that it was annoying me because, okay, just the high defense and the healing, I'm okay with that. But all of my move missing, that was the problem. So I lost in the end because, well, one of his had so much defense that I was having trouble taking him down from 10% of life before the other one was healing. And even when I was attacking the other one, well, he was healing himself at every move with that and was attacking with the other one. So it was, I basically died because of that. So yeah, I'm starting this what if right now because of that. So the way this Deku will be like Cell is actually that he is born without a quirk, just like in the original. For a good part of his life, until he is around 8, nothing really changes. He is still bullied, so he still wants to be a hero, until an incident happens. Um, Basically, he was walking and a villain attacked. He was basically caught in the quirk and got badly hurt to a point of almost being dead. They rushed him to a hospital, but the problem is that at this hospital, someone that worked with All for One was there and decided to take Deku to basically make another Nomu. Like in this one, they wanted to make 13 high-end Nomus, Deku being one of them, and All for One wanted to try and put as much quirk as possible into him because his body didn't have a quirk naturally, but for some reason it seemed to be extremely resistant to quirks. Because just having two quirks is already pretty strong on your body, but Deku's body seemed to be able to carry a lot more, even though he didn't have the quirk factor. So they placed him in a tank, basically telling everyone that he died in the operation. All Might was devastated, and not All Might, the hero that basically was there. The reason I say All Might is because not long after that, actually, the battle with All Might happens. So All Might is still injured. So no change there. That's what I wanted to say. So the quirks that are basically placed in Deku to basically make him like Cell is a tail quirk, a bug quirk that basically makes him look a bit like a bug, basically with the size of Cell. So basically that's for the appearance. The appearance. Um, an extreme regeneration that's basically they thought it was just a normal regeneration, just extremely strong. But the thing they didn't know about this regeneration from the person that All for One took it is that it actually is able to survive and regrow from a single cell in the body. Problem is, while it's at first it's not going to be that strong, but later it's going to be able to do it. Other quirks that are put in him are increased durability, um, what is it called? Um, life energy manipulation. So basically to make Ki Blast and other attack like that, as well as the flying without flapping his wings. Well, without using his wings. Um, as well as an absorption quirk. Basically, that mixed itself with the quirk that gave him a tail. So basically, he absorbs things by the tail, and it looks well. Basically, in the end, Deku, his body look exactly like that, but it's not put in him all over a couple of days. It's placed in him over. I said he was 8. Um, about 6 years actually, for basically all the quirk to be placed in him, for his body to modify, and blah blah blah. So yeah, other quirks that were put in him were super strength as well. They didn't place a shock absorption in him though, because they placed a small skin hardening, so his skin is naturally stronger. And I think that's basically it. There's some other stuff to basically make perfect, well, replicate imperfect cell. And he's going to get the other forms later, but yeah, for now, basically the end result was the larval form, well, the big psychedelic one, that will grow faster, basically, because it was basically placed in him over 6 years. When he finally um, start emerging, he is still in the bath, but basically the thing that keeps him um, well dead, well, not really, but um, the doctor that was taking care of Shigaraki was basically explaining that um, while they are in the tubes, they basically um, well, for the bodies to basically absorb the quirks easily, they basically make them brain dead but still alive, just so that the body is able to accept it without the brain receiving a huge amount of damage. They tried to change Deku's mind to basically make him evil and work like the other Nomus, as well as give him a higher intelligence. The problem is that they didn't take in account that Deku's body wasn't actually going to stay like it was. Um, his body basically hardened and changed to basically make imperfect cell. The cicada form basically started cracking, and he came out, but instead of not being able to think like the other Nomus, thanks to the protection shell that basically formed around him, he was actually able to move. So he decided to break out because he didn't know where he was. He didn't actually know how long passed. All he knows is that he just woke up and he's in a tube. He basically blows it up. The 12 other high ends are basically there. He doesn't care about that right now. He's just escaping. And basically, without thinking, he's just using his quirks that he got to basically get out of the place and fully escape. It was the middle of the night, so there was a bit less people, but everyone basically still heard it. And all of the damage that he caused on the way basically stayed there. So All for One was told about that. That one of the Nomus basically just escaped. Um, Normally, I would say they probably have a way to track them, but I don't think with the high-ends they did that. Well, until All for One got the quirk from Ragdoll, but for now they literally don't have any way of tracking them. So Deku basically escapes and tries to go back to his hometown, which, arriving there, he found out that his mom actually went away because living in the same house as where her son was basically too bad on her, so she went back with Deku's father, oversee where he was working, because, well, staying where she was too hard for her. And for the first time, he actually just realized that he was actually using flying, that he caused explosions, and because, well, when he arrived, he basically saw the house completely empty and for sales. So he basically stopped and he just realized how he looks, the abilities that he was using. He was just not able to think straight before that. Well, he's still not able to, but he's able to at least partially think now. Some people called the Cubs because, well, they just saw someone using their quirk and it looks bad the way he was. So they called the police not because of a villain, but just because there's someone that seemed to be um, not correctly, well, able to actually be in society right now. He looks drunk or something like that. So, because thanks to the body he has now, he looks like an adult with a freaking monster quirk. The person they decided to send was basically a hero, because if he's strong, normal policeman might not be able to do the trick. So the hero I would say they sent was basically, um, well, one of the three that we saw at the start of the anime, because he woke up about 11 months before the UA entrance exam, so a month before the training starts. So basically they tried to send um, one of the hero we saw at the start of the anime, Kamui Wood or one of those, basically. Um, they weren't able to find Deku because he decided to go in hiding, simply because he didn't even know what the hell he was at this point. So literally what he did was go in a forest, basically hide and try to get what he is. Um, the way basically Bakugo reacted to Deku basically being said that he was dead was just, yes, he was a bit shocked, but he was still a bit like in pain because the kid was literally quirkless. He insulted him all the time, and right now, well, the way he died was basically that, um, well, that day he actually insulted Deku in a way that basically made him run away from the school, and he basically died while trying to just walk in any direction. So he's thinking that he was thinking that it was probably his fault. So he started changing his way. So this Bakugo is basically was started training more, starting being more caring towards others, and less of a douche mostly, because he was basically thinking that the reason Deku went there basically was his fault. So yeah. So basically what happened was that for the next month, basically Deku was only trying to see all of the ability he had. Um, First one he was able to control was flying, because basically he was using it without even thinking. He was just thinking of, I want to go there in that direction, and he was going. So it was the easiest for him to control after a while. His key blasts were a bit less um, easy to control. After a while, basically, he was, well, as well as for some reason knowing that um, his body was basically regenerating constantly. For some reason, he looked at his tail and basically saw the stinger. He didn't really know what it was for. Um, he tried to hit a tree with it, and he saw that it was pretty strong. But when it hit the tree, it basically felt as if it was trying to absorb something, which he didn't know why it was doing that. And since it's in a tree, it basically doesn't absorb really anything. So at some point, he tried it on an animal, which basically absorbed the nutrients from it. And Absorbing the nutrients didn't really give him that much because basically he did it to something like a rabbit or something like that. So he basically saw that, okay, absorbing thing like that actually feeds me. I know how to control it. And he basically knows about a lot of his ability now. So after that month, he basically decided that he was going back in society, well, in the city, to try and find, well, where his mom could have went. And to go there, he basically tried to get clothes or something to basically cover his body, since he, well, in his imperfect form, he's basically taller than a full-grown man by a good amount. Still smaller than All Might, I would say, but not from a lot. So yeah, he basically found some clothes and a big trench coat so he could just basically cover himself. For his head, he basically couldn't do anything, but that was less bad because of where he was. So, in society, basically, for the first time in, well, 6 years and a certain amount, it's the first time that he actually sees what date it is, and he just realized that it's been 6 years since he actually, well, since the accident. So for now, he's just thinking, okay, so the accident probably activated my quirk or something, but I was in a coma, so they placed me in that special tube or something, and I just kind of escaped for nothing. He's basically trying to rationalize it, but it's not doing it him any good, basically. So, um, this is basically the day of the Sludge villain attack. This time, instead of Deku passing through the bridge, it's actually Bakugo. Or, you know what? No, I'm going to say that it happens at the same place. But that All Might basically running after him basically lost his power before that happened, so he's not able to help. But Izuku is looking at it, and basically he recognizes, well, firstly the explosions happens, and then he sees the hair and he recognizes Bakugo. In the moment he saw that, his body just moved on its own. The clothes that were covering him basically got, well, he literally took them off and just started flying overhead. Everyone, the heroes tried to stop him. The Sludge villain saw him and basically tried to point the hand of Bakugo towards him. But Deku was too fast and basically was able to grab the hand and literally rip out Bakugo without any problem. He basically threw him through the crowd, which people were able to catch him. Well, a hero was able to catch him. And then the Sludge villain tried to attack Deku and attach himself to him. Problem is, Deku was already ready to throw a massive ki blast. And basically took out the Sludge villain. He didn't kill him, but he was knocked out. And after doing that, basically, the hero were about to go ask him, well, no, the civilians were about to go ask him who he was, and he just basically started flying away. Which All Might saw that, and he just decided to follow him. So he tried to follow Deku, um, where Deku landed, which was still in the city. He basically just went like 4 or 5 blocks away and just kind of stayed there and passed the time. And All Might was able to find him, and basically All Might asked him, "Why did you do that?" Which Izuku, just not wanting to run from one person, just said because he was in danger. They weren't doing anything. I wasn't able to think. I just ran. Which All Might smiles at him and says, "What's your name?" Which Deku looks at his hand and says, "From when I looked human or now?" Which All Might's basically not getting what he means. And he asks basically what he means. And then Deku basically explains that 6 years ago, when he was 8, he was in the middle of a villain attack, and he got hurt badly. All he remembers is being attacked, that it hurted a lot, and suddenly, about a month ago, he woke up in a weird tube with black, 12 black and, big and black people in other ones. He broke out and escaped, but he doesn't know if it was actually something that was supposed to keep him alive, and that it was just because he was in a coma or something like that. But it's basically the first time he came back in society in the last month, after he tried to go find his mother, which All Might basically just kind of thinks, that's weird. Why would anyone do that? Then he goes and sits down next to Deku and asks him, "What is your quirk? Because you're strong. Those heroes weren't able to do anything because of their quirks not being the right kind, but you didn't even care. Even if it wouldn't have worked, you still went for it. Most heroes, most great heroes, their stories start by them acting without thinking. I think you have a great heart, and that you would be a great hero. But for that, I need to know who you are. People need to know who you are." So Deku basically tells him, his name, Izuku Midoriya, and basically explained that the person he saved back there, he thinks it was one of his friends from, before that happened, pointing to his body. And All Might's basically thinking, so, at least you, basically asking, so at least you remember who you were from before. Which he says yes. So All Might asks him, so what was your quirk before it happened? And Deku just answers, I was quirkless. I woke up like this, and I was able to do all of those new things. But I don't know if with those powers I could be a hero. Which All Might respond by saying, like I said before, all great heroes act before thinking. You have the heart of a hero. If what you say is true, and that it's been 6 years and that you were 8, you're going to be 15 Well, you're 14, right? Which Deku says yeah. And then All Might decides to tell him, would you like to go to a hero school? Which does make Deku happy, but he says, I don't have an education from anymore. No school would actually let me enter. And then he says, I can probably arrange that. Which Deku asks, how does he work in that? Which All Might tells him, well, you see, my boy, I'm going to be a teacher at UA next year. And I think that if I recommend someone, they might take you. Which Deku asks, you're going to be a hero? A teacher at UA? So what's your quirk? Which All Might basically looks around, makes sure that no one's there, and basically looks at Deku again and tells him, this is a secret, so please don't tell it to anyone. All Might just raise up, place himself on his feet, and buff up to his All Might form, telling him that he's All Might. He buffs back down, basically starting to cough blood, which Deku basically asks him if he's alright. And All Might then shows him his injury and explains to him what happened. Which Deku basically tells him that he will gladly take the offer. And then All Might goes to ask him if he wants one for all. After asking that question, Deku basically tells him that he just got new quirks that he doesn't even know if he has more, which he has. So he doesn't want to take more quirks for now. Then he thinks and says, but the friend I talked to you about, the one that I saved from the Sludge villain, I think he would be a great candidate. Years ago he was a bit mean, but I think he would have changed by now. Or at least I hope so. You might want to go check with him. So then before leaving, All Might asks him, so where do you live? Which Deku basically just tells him that he lives in the forest, and that to feed he basically just eats small animals. So All Might tells him, so you're able to hunt, which Deku says, no. That's the part I don't like, and basically shows the stinger and says that whatever he stings with that basically get absorbed in his body, and that's how he feeds. Eating food normally helps as well, but it's easier for him to eat like that, so... Which All Might basically tells him that if he goes at UA, he's going to make sure that there's a way for him to actually eat. Which, even if it is eating small living animals, which might not go well with some of the teachers, if it's the only way you're able to eat, they might try to find a way to actually do something. So Deku thanks him and basically tells him exactly where it is, well, pointing to the exact direction and telling him that it's about 8 kilometers from that place. So All Might tells him thank you, and both of them leaves. So Izuku goes back to the forest and decides to actually train, because if he's actually able to enter a new way, he wants to be strong enough. The thing he doesn't know is that the power he has in him are, well, the only reason he was made to be a high in Nomu was actually because there was supposed to be 2 or 3 more quirks added to him later, but he escaped before that. So his natural strength, basically, well, all of his ability, if he knows how to fight, he would be able to beat All Might. But only because of the abilities, like the absorption and stuff like that. So he basically goes and trains to basically have more strength, speed, and stuff like that, and he's increasing pretty well. That's the quirk I forgot to say. Yeah, sorry, I just kind of realized that there's 2 quirks that I should have said before. Firstly, for the say in biology, that basically makes him get stronger when he heals. So yeah, he gets that as well. Forgot to say that. As well as another ability that is actually the ability to transform. If he gets far enough, basically like the capacity to go Super Saiyan, but instead of having blonde hair, it basically just boosts his power. Because yes, Cell is able to do that, which he basically just use it thanks to the Saiyan biology without really having blonde hair or stuff like that, but in his perfect form, he can use that. So for now, he doesn't have it because he still needs to get strong enough to do it. But yeah, so Izuku basically trains to become stronger. His physical strength would be enough to at least take like, well, his body, thanks to regeneration, he could go at 100 and just heal the damage. But without his body breaking, he would be able to go at around 10 to 15% in those corners. But yeah, he doesn't have that. All Might was able to find Bakugo again, offer him the quirk, tell him that the man that saved him basically said that he was a good candidate. Oh yeah, I think I forgot to say that Deku also told All Might not to say anyone who he truly was, and decided on a name that basically was his new name, which would be Cell. Reason for that is that basically he doesn't know what his powers are, and blah blah blah, and he was just looking for a name for his body that would be great, basically. So, well, because of his form. So, he basically just chose that name. So All Might just said that the man that saved him thought that he would be a great person to get his quirk, because All Might asked that person first. So Bakugo accepts it. He gets to train with All Might. In the end, since he trained more in this one to basically be able to help people because of how guilty he felt. After the training, the amount of One for All he could use is, well, around 10 to 12%. So a bit less than what Deku physical strength is. Well, physical body is, but still pretty good. So, Deku, well, firstly, the way All Might made it was that he actually went multiple time talk with Deku, Um, then at one point went and presented him to Aizawa, Nezu, and some other teachers, and basically he explained to them what happened to him and that he wanted to be a hero before that happened. So Nezu decided to take him, but on the condition that he was able to pass the test like the other students. If he was able to do that, they will take him. If he's not able to, they'll at least recommend him to another hero school that would be less prestigious, but that would at least take him anyway. So I'm going to end it here, just before the UA entrance exam. So yeah, like I said, this was supposed to only, well, I was only supposed to start this one in around a month. So instead of 3 new what ifs, it's going to be 4. The 2 next are the 2nd of June and the 5th of June. But yeah, so hope you liked it. Tell me in the comment section if, well, you want to see more of this one. Um, I know, I think like 2 people made something in that way. One of them was actually that Deku's dad decided to create a kid because he lost his, and I think the other one was something in the same way. But yeah, so leave a like if you liked it. I don't really care for that. Um, so yeah, Natsu out.